Can human design explain endometriosis and period pain? Well, I'm not going to sit here and say, yes, it absolutely can. However, as a naturopath, as a nutritionist, as a medical herbalist, and as a human design analyst who's been in the health industry since 1999, I'm going to say that human design can help us understand where some of these symptoms may be coming from. At the very least, it can give us a perspective to contemplate. Now, I have dealt with quite severe period pain in my lifetime, so if you have endometriosis or bad period pain, I empathize with you, and it's also why I have quite a deep interest in this topic. Now, what I want to do is go through the areas in a human design chart that I look at specifically when someone with period pain or endometriosis come to me, because I am finding that there are some common factors that we can consider. Now, again, I'm not saying that this is like the cure-all, you'll know this information and then your pain will disappear. No, we're here to look at what we can understand on a deeper level, what may be going on energetically, what may be out of alignment, what may be contributing to the symptoms that you have. Because knowledge is power, I'm going to say wisdom is power, wisdom is above knowledge. So let's take a look at how things may fit together. Now, firstly, from a naturopathic perspective, if you came to me with period pain and endometriosis, I would want to consider, do you have a magnesium deficiency? That's the one that most of you know about. Do you have an underlying virus in your body which is affecting your immune system, which is contributing to the growth of endometrial tissue and therefore pain? Do you have a buildup of toxins in your body? They would be that need to be released that are contributing to the pain because they're blocking your liver and confusing the balance of your hormones. All of those things are possible. But if we look at that from a human design perspective, where would we look, you ask? Let me tell you. The first place that I would look is in the sacral energy center. Now, I have a lot of notes here, so I'm just going to make sure, I'm going to be looking down a little bit to make sure I cover them all for you. Now, the sacral energy center, it relates to the sacral chakra. So we're talking about chakra number 2. Now, this is important because this is where the life force, where the vitality within you comes from. It's also specifically related to sexuality and sensuality. Of course, the reproductive system is related to both of those things. So of course we want to start there. First, I want to consider what's going on with your sacral energy center. What is your energy type? Because that will affect how your sacral energy is expressing its energy to some degree. If you're a generator or if you're a manifesting generator, you have a defined sacral center. That means you need to be very aware of what you're saying yes to and what you're saying no to, and what your body is telling you is a yes and is a no. You need to be very familiar with your ability to respond. Now, if you are any of the other energy types, if you are a projector, a manifestor, or a reflector, then you have an undefined or even an open sacral energy center. If that's the case, you don't have access to consistent energy, consistent life force in this area. It goes up and it goes down, and that's just how it is for you, and that's totally fine. You have superpowers in other areas, but you can absorb a lot of energy in the sacral space that isn't yours. You need to be very aware of how you're using your sacral energy, and it will be different depending on your energy type. But I want you to look specifically at the sacral energy center in your human design chart. I'm going to tell you the specific, I'm going to say most important gates that I would look at if you came to me with endometriosis or period pain. Now, the first one is gate 5, the gate of fixed patterns. That's because it relates to the sacral plexus. What is the sacral plexus, Claire? It is a bundle of nerves that begin in the pelvic area, in the uterus area, travel down the legs, through the knees, all the way down to your feet. If those nerves are affected in some way, then that can absolutely contribute to period pain, okay? I'm going to take it a step further. Pause with me for a second. We're talking about the sacral plexus. Gate 5, the gate of fixed patterns, relate to the sacral plexus. Gate 9, the gate of focus, relates to the sacral plexus. This is all in the sacral energy center. Gate 27, the gate of caring, also relates to the sacral plexus. Gate 42, the gate of growth, relates to the sacral plexus. And gate 59, the gate of sexuality, also relates to the sacral plexus. Why am I focusing so much on the sacral plexus? Because there are a lot of women with endometriosis who have the excess tissue, the excess endometrium growing into their sacral plexus area. So if you are one of these women with tissue growth that is excess into the sacral plexus area, I would specifically be honing in on these gates and going, okay, do you have any of them defined? Are they hanging? Are they connected to a channel? Is its matching pair gate defined and not this one? Is there something that you need to understand and learn from that energy that may help to create space for healing within your body? I also want you to know that gate 27 is related to the uterus, which is why it's important to look at that gate, what's going on. Gate 29, we're still in the sacral energy center, as well as the sacral plexus. It's related to the vaginal fascia. Very, very important. The gate 59, as well as the sacral plexus, it's related to the ovaries and the sexual organs. This is the gate of sexuality. What's going on in gate 59 for you if you have it defined? Are you maybe operating from the shadow side? Now, I'm not going to go into all the shadow and the higher expressions in this video. I'm giving you some food for thought. If you have any of these gates I'm talking about, please research them further, find the information that you need, and go into the gene keys too, because there's going to be some important information, in my opinion, that can help to clear or lower the resistance in the gates if you think that there's some there. Now, two others that I find very important is gate, let's go 34 first. So gate 34 is the gate of power. This is important because it relates to the vagus nerve. If the vagus nerve is dysfunctioning, you are more prone to pain in so many different areas in your life, including period pain and endometriosis pain. Okay? It's also been found that women with endometriosis and period pain, severe period pain, generally have a lower vagal tone, which means that the vagus nerve is not functioning properly. So if you have this gate 34 and you've been maybe sensing what's going on with my vagus nerve, because your intuition might be telling you, it's a sign to go down the road to help tone and relax your vagus nerve. And you'll probably also, with probably all of these gates, need to also support your nervous system, because there may be some degree of adrenal burnout or overexhaustion involved, which can throw out your estrogen to progesterone balance and contribute to the pain. The last gate I want to talk about in the sacral energy center is the gate 14, the gate of power skills. Why? Because in your body, gate 14 relates to your small intestine. Now, there have been so many studies I'm not going to say show, that strongly suggest that endometriosis and severe period pain relate to small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, a small intestine condition. Basically, there's an overgrowth of the healthy bacteria in the small intestine, which throws out the hormones, which makes it difficult to digest your food properly, which makes you prone to a lot of pain in that lower abdominal area. Now, if you find with your period pain or your endometriosis that you have a lot of trouble eating, especially at this time when you do have your cycle, I would be honing in very closely on gate 14 and going, okay, what's going on with my small intestine? Do I need to work on it energetically and possibly physically as well? There may be some physical cleansing that's needed as well as some energetic balancing. Okay, now they're all the gates that I want to focus on in the sacral energy center. The second energy center I want to focus on is, drumroll, the spleen. Why the spleen, Claire? Well, that's a great question. When it's in its shadow energy, it can hold a lot of fears, okay? But above and beyond that, the spleen energy center is where your immune system lives. Now, if you have endometriosis, there's something going on with your immune system. Because you have that excess tissue growth in, well, not just your abdominal area, it can actually grow up and affect your ears. It's pretty crazy. But if you have that excess tissue growth, I'm going to wonder, why isn't your immune system alert enough to go, hey, this is not where you're meant to grow now, stop? Because the immune system regulates cell growth when it's functioning healthily, okay? So I want to know what's going on with your spleen energy center. All of the spleen gates relate to different fears. So if you have any of the gates in the spleen energy center active, highlighted, look into those. There are fears that are hidden within those gates that may be manifesting themselves and contributing to the pain and altering your immune system. Let's look at these gates. The gate 28 in the spleen energy center, that's called the gate of the game player, okay? Now, this in a way relates to what we're talking about with the sacral plexus in the sacral energy center, because the 28, the gate of the game player, relates to the kidneys. If you have the type of endometriosis that is called ureteral endometriosis, which is where the endometrium grows excessively into the ureters in the kidneys, then I want to look at this gate and go, what's going on there? What energetically needs to shift? What do you need to understand? Okay, so the spleen energy center is very, very, very important for your immune system. When it's in its highest expression, you are in tune with your intuition. You're listening to your intuition. You are letting things go when you know they no longer serve you. If you have a defined spleen, you may be less likely to hold on to these fears or be impacted by the immune system element that I'm talking about. But if your spleen energy center is undefined or even open, well, you could be absorbing other people's fears. There's a lot of fears around the male-female balance of energies in the world. There's a lot of fear around talking about sexuality, sensuality, and there's a lot of fears that can be absorbed from the collective and held in your spleen energy center and potentially affecting your immune system. Okay, so important area to look at, number 2, your spleen. The third area that I want to look at, if you have endometriosis or period pain, is a little left of center. If you specifically have an irregular menstrual cycle, whether you have endometriosis or period pain or not, if your cycle is always irregular, and especially if you're one of those people who have tried to regulate your cycle, you've done the herbs, you've done the diets, you've done the meditation, you've done kinesiology, you've done acupuncture, you've done all the things to try and balance your hormones, and yet it's still irregular, I'm here to say, maybe that's how it's meant to be within you, within your journey with your menstrual cycle this lifetime. Here's some reasons why, okay? I'm specifically thinking about gates related to trust, okay? Some people come into this lifetime and are here to learn lessons of trust. They're here to have issues of control to be released, okay? And releasing control, the opposite of control is trust. If we look at this from a human design perspective, let's talk about the gates I'd be looking at, okay? Specifically, we're talking about learning to trust divine timing. Maybe your cycle is teaching you something. It's all here to teach us, is it not? In my opinion, I think it is. So gate 1, trust the timing of the universe. That's what it's all about. And it's related to the liver. If your liver is not functioning properly, well, then your estrogen and progesterone cannot be balanced properly. You will be holding on to toxins and you'll be way more prone to endometriosis and period pain. So gate 1, trust the timing of the universe. Gate 2, trust everything. If you have gate 2, I want to know where it sits in your human design chart, what planet is activating it, and especially if it's in your Chiron or your Saturn or your Pluto, there's some lessons that you absolutely came into this life to learn around trusting everything. And if you're struggling to do the trust thing, well, it can affect your womb, because gate 2, it's the most feminine gate of all, and it is related to the womb. Okay, it sits in the identity center. Gate 12, the gate of divine timing. You also want to look at gate 43 in the throat center, which actually relates to the ear. Gate 43 is trust your voice, throat center, but it relates to the ear. And when I was talking about before, the endometrium, if you have endometriosis, can actually grow up and affect your ear. If that's happening to you, I don't think it's that common, but it's possible. Do you have gate 43 and are you trusting your voice? Something to consider. Another trust gate that I like to talk about is gate 46. And that's because gate 46 is about trusting your body. It's about listening to your body. It's about loving your body. Now, if you have gate 46 in Saturn, in Chiron, or in Pluto, again, you may find it not as natural to trust your body or to love your body, and it may be more of a conscious process for you to reach that point in this lifetime. And that's okay, because knowledge and wisdom is power. If you know that, you can go, okay, this is what I need to do. I need to trust my body more, and that in itself helps to decrease some of the stress of going, I don't know when my cycle is going to come. This is so frustrating. This is so annoying. I can't plan around this time of the month because I don't know what's going to happen. If you at least know, okay, there is a higher purpose to that situation, it can make you go, okay, all right, it's going to be how it is. And with time, from experience, I have all these gates that I'm talking about, these trust gates. It does lower your resistance to not knowing when the cycle is going to come and how you're going to feel, okay? And if you can do that consistently, that in itself, that level of trust, it helps to decrease pain over time because pain relates to resistance in your body. I'm telling you all of these gates in this video to help hopefully release or decrease some of the resistance that you feel. Okay, so you can research further. Now, as a side note, the gate 46, loving the body, relates to the blood. So hey, if you know that your period pain and your endometriosis is related to clots, blood clots, if you are passing large clots during your cycle, I want to circle back to your gate 46 and go, hey, what's going on there? Because it's specifically related to the blood. And then, hey, if you had gate 46 and gate 1, because blood clots can be related to liver stasis, gate 1 is related to liver. Do you have both of those? Maybe there's some awareness that needs to be worked upon in both of those gates. Okay. Now, the fourth and final area that I would like to talk about when we're talking about human design and endometriosis and period pain is bloodlines, the trauma that's happened in your family lineage. It's come to my awareness through my experience, my personal and my professional experience, that the pain that a lot of us are experiencing when it comes to period pain, it's not all ours. It's not something that necessarily originated for us in this lifetime, but it's something that we came in with to help clear for the lineage, to help clear for the bloodline. Now, whether you have children or not this lifetime, this is still an important process to go through and be aware of, because being able to clear energetically through your body, simply bringing awareness to this issue that you've been having, and every single step that you take, every layer of information that you receive relating to your cycle that helps to drop resistance and it helps to even take away 1% of that pain that you experience, that accumulates. And that impacts not only you, that impacts your bloodline. If you look at before you and after you. So for some of us, there is a lineage of family members behind us going, yay, you're doing the best you can with your cycle. I'm so sorry that you're going through this. It's been a tough life. Some of them, there was sexual trauma that they went through that they didn't release, they didn't process. That's come into some of our bodies in this lifetime. There's many different ways that it can express itself. There are some times when it's not all yours, but you still are experiencing the knock-on of effects, what hasn't been cleared. Do you have gate 47? The gate 47 is related to cellular memories. It's related to clearing bloodlines. It's related to owning your adversities and your shadows. And gate 47 is also related to being able to accept your suffering. Now, I would say that anyone with endometriosis and severe period pain would call it suffering, especially because it happens so often, every month or so. Let's not say how regular it's going to be. But me personally, I have gate 47 3 times in my chart. So I have learned that absolutely this is not a pain that originated necessarily by me. I didn't necessarily create it this lifetime, but hey, I'm here to help clear it out. That in itself is empowering, and it takes away a layer of the why. Why is this happening? What did I do? La 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 la. Okay, for me, my gate 47, it's in the unconscious Saturn. Okay, Saturn's going to slow you down. Saturn is a tough placement. Whatever you have in your gate, in your Saturn, take notice because it can definitely slow down your body. So I have the 47 related to this bloodline clearing in my unconscious Saturn. I also have it in my unconscious Mars. Mars is the passion and the energy that you put out into the world. Mars, I want to say it's also related to the blood. That's just me though. Let's pass that along. I also have it in my conscious Jupiter, which is interesting. So to put a whole spin on what I'm talking about with the 47, with the clearing the bloodlines, what this tells me, because I have it in the Jupiter as well as the Saturn, it means that if I can clear or at least decrease this experience that I'm having with my cycle, with the pain, help to clear the bloodline, it's actually going to bring blessings to me because it's also in my Jupiter. So you've got to follow where, I'm going to say, the trail of where the gates are. How many times do you have it? Where do you have it? How is it affecting you? In which planet, in which way is it expressing itself? So to pull everything together that we've spoken about, I want you to know that if you have endometriosis, if you have period pain on any degree of the scale, please know that you're not alone, and that despite what many mainstream practitioners will tell you, there are things you can do, there are steps you can take to help empower yourself and to help improve your health and improve how you feel. Now, I'm not saying that knowing all this information will change how your body responds during your cycle next month. It might, but I suggest that if you allow the information that you've soaked in during this video to really sit with you, if you pull out your body graph and look at what's going on in your sacral energy center, what's going on in your spleen, what's going on with those trust gates I spoke about, what's going on, do you have gate 47? Are you clearing bloodlines? You're going to see something out of all of that, I am sure, that kind of feels like an arrow going, look here, because you have found this video for a reason. There is something within this video that is meant to spark the next trail for you to go down to help you feel better physically, emotionally, and help you be more in alignment and connected with your authentic self. Now, my name is Claire Jovanovic, and if you have received any benefit, any sparks of wisdom, gems, pearls from this video, I would love it if you could please click the like button, maybe even subscribe. Also, please feel free to share it with anyone else who has endometriosis or period pain, or who is fascinated by the connection of human design and health, because that is what I specialize in. Because I'm a naturopath and a human design analyst, merging the worlds of human design and health is natural and what I do. I look forward to seeing you, my friends, in my next video.